Konnichiwa, minasan. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. As we say in Japanese, Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu is Happy New Year. And then we often will follow that, like when I go back to school on the 9th, and I see all my coworkers will say that, and then we'll often follow it with Kotoshi mo yoroshiku onegai shimasu, which means this year as well, please be kind to me. So, all of you, Kotoshi mo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Please be good to me over 2024. Patient when I need you to be patient, and enthusiastic. Most of you are very enthusiastic about sumo. That's why you're here watching this video. You are Yokozuna to me. Thank you for a great 2023. It was a crazy year, started very crazy, but we recovered well. And I think the channel is doing just fine these days. And we've got over 100 members, and I'm going to try to do something fun for them in January. Well, it is January already. I should preface this as Okinaumi looms over my shoulder that it is January 2nd, Tuesday the 2nd, as I'm filming this. And I'm doing it a little early because, as many of you know, I'm going to Guam. I was supposed to go to Guam in July, got COVID, couldn't go. So I rebooked, and it's crazy expensive if I'd wanted to go around New Year's Day. So I waited, and I'm leaving on Wednesday the 3rd, and I'm coming back on Monday the 8th. And because Monday the 8th is a holiday in Japan, it's a national holiday called Seiji no Hi, Coming of Age Day. So when you turn 20 years old in Japan, it's a significant year, kind of like turning 21 in the States. And uh, the young people, if you turn 20 in any time in that year, you celebrate all at the same time. There's a little, what is that? Oh, on my sweater. You go to the city hall or some kind of meeting place, depending on the size of your town. The girls dress up in these wonderful kimono that they either rent for the day or are legacy handed down from their grandmother to their mother, etc. And the boys usually dress up not in tuxedos necessarily, but in nice suits. Sometimes they wear male versions of kimono, and so it's and they there's speeches and they get handed a paper from the city, and so you kind of have to go back to your hometown to do it. And I've been to a few of the ceremonies. Students, past students invited me, and it's really a lot of fun. And so that Monday is a holiday. And so for a lot of Japanese like myself, we get this week off. Uh, really, January 1, 2, and 3 are the main Oshogatsu holidays, the New Year holidays in Japan. Nothing much moves. And then, of course, because of the way the holiday fell on a Monday, the first was a Monday this year. I think a lot of businesses would give their employees the 4th and the 5th off, like my school did. And you go back to work on Tuesday the 9th, which is when me and the students return to school. But we are here to talk about sumo and say goodbye to 2023. And I'll talk more about this calendar and how I'm going to give it away in a little bit and say hello to 2024. One of the winners of the contest did claim the 2024 calendar. So that is a prize that is gone. But there'll be a lot of other nifty prizes that I will give away for the contest for the January basho, which starts on, I'm looking up at my new calendar that's up here, starts on the 14th, Sunday the 14th, and concludes on Sunday the 28th. And that's the reason I'm doing this video early and it's getting posted to the channel early. Normally, I would make the welcome video about 1 week ahead, which would have been Sunday the 7th, but I'll be in Guam. So I didn't want to wait. And then right when I get back, I'm going to be back and it's going to be weekdays and I'm going to be busy at work. So I didn't want to get it pushed off too far. So I contacted Mike, my contest guy, and he was cool and said, sure, I will make the contest. So the contest is ready to go. And I will post the link down in the description if you want to join the contest. I usually cut it off to the consternation of a few people. After day one, you get to see what happens on day one, and then I close it down to new entries. And so, yeah, we got to talk a little bit about Terano Fuji. Will he show up? We don't know. We're hoping he does. So be careful if you're going to pick Terunofuji in that group. Not because he might not come back and do have a great tournament, but because he might not show up. So if you pick him, just be prepared on day one, or right around day one when they announce who's not going to be competing in January, that you go back and you edit your entry and you pick somebody else. And, do you think the big question about this tournament is, do you think Kirishima, the Ozeki, who of course won the November tournament, can he repeat, win again here in January, and thus become the next Yokozuna? Um, he has that onus on him of all the Mongolian Ozeki in history have gone on to become a Yokozuna. And now we currently have two Mongolian Ozeki, so they're both trying to fulfill that destiny. Hoshoru has got a little ways to go, but I think is very capable. And Kirishima, I think, will do it this year in 2024, even if he fails to do it in January. So, and that'll be good for the association, because Terunofuji, as much as we want to see him have one more good tournament, I think is going to retire this year. So, we'll see. And then some of you Taki Keisho fans are hoping Taki Keisho puts together a couple good tournaments in a row and gets his own promotion. Um, and we'll just have to see if that happens and materializes as we go along. Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. And I'm going to share my screen, and we will, excuse me, talk first about what happened back in November. This, of course, is Fred Pink's chart up here, fredpink.com. All right, so Terunofuji, of course, not participating in September, not participating in November. I'm really, they're really hoping he's going to show up and compete here in January. Of course, it's in Tokyo at the Kokugikan. And Kirishima, though, as I said, with his 13-2 Yusho, the highest ranked Ozeki for January. Terunofuji doesn't show up. You could always put an asterisk by his promotion and say, well, he became a Yokozuna with ever having to fight a Yokozuna to win the Yusho that he won in order to get promoted. But that's completely out of his control, right? He of course would, I'm sure, gladly fight Terunofuji if he's available, because he would always fight him in the last few days of the tournament. So he's not fighting him in the first 5 days when he might be more full of vim and vigor. But he will have to fight Hoshoru and Taki Keisho, of course. And we've got Sekewake Koltonowaka, who, let's see, he's building on 9 wins in September and 11 wins in November, which of course equals 20. So he'd have to have a really good January to get promoted to Ozeki. He'd have to have 13 wins or more, which, he's capable, but that's a tall order. Daisho, on the other hand, I mean, technically is just one behind, but as soon as you don't get double-digit wins like this 9 here, it kind of takes the bloom off the rose, and he would have to get a 14-1 or a 15-0 to get promoted. So he's just hoping to regroup, have a good tournament. As you can see here by this green star that Fred puts next to their name, this is how many championships they've won in the top division. And so you can see that Koltonowaka is the only top-ranked Rikishi who has never won a Yusho. And of course, you've got guys down here like Abi and Shodai and Asanoyama who have, and Takayumi, of course, the former Ozeki, has won 3. And so we've got some talent in the field. And but yeah, Koltonowaka has yet to win. So he'll be gunning. Takayasu coming back after that strong 10-5 at M3, back into Komusubi, and Ura. And we'll talk more about Ura in a minute, getting the promotion 8-7 at M1 to go up to Komusubi. Wakamoto Haru being demoted all the way down from Sekewake past Komusubi into the rank and file at M1. Atami Fuji, look at that jump he took. Maegashira 8 all the way up to Maegashira 1, just below Wakamoto Haru. And yeah, just great. I mean, look at this rise for him. So he comes in, his debut in the top division at M15, gets an 11-4, wins the Kantosho Fighting Spirit Prize, then goes up to M8, again gets an 11-4, gets the Kanto show again, and now he's way up, and he's going to fight all the top ranked guys. So this is going to be a real test for him, but we'll see if he's equal to the task. Abi comes down from Komusubi to M2, and Hokuto Fuji, of course, plummets. No, sorry, he doesn't plummet. I was looking at the Asanoyama line here. He just goes down to M3. Gonoyama stuck in there. So a lot of talent in this top group here. Midori Fuji getting a nice bump from his 9 and 6. As you can see, all the guys here in white had losing records, and the green is the winning record. So it was about half and half in November. Who else benefited a lot? Ichi Yamamoto. Wow. Maegashira 14, 11 and 4, bumps him all the way up to M7, just ahead of Asanoyama, who came back and got a few wins from injury, had those 7 absences, but basically the 4 and 11 record drops him to M7. And Tamawashi, the Iron Man, goes up a little bit, up to M10. And there you go. Chirano Umi, another successful debut with a 9 and 6, going up to M13, just ahead of Endo, the veteran. Onosho taking a huge plummet with a 3 and 12, down to M14. And we got 5 guys coming up to Makiuchi, the top division. Koto Shoho, Onosato, Bushozan, Shimazumi, and Aoyama coming back. Some of them are coming back. Some of them are making their debut. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here are the guys that went down to Juryo: Kotoeko, Tohakuru, Roga, Nishiki Fuji, and Kitanowaka. And of course, Roga and Kitanowaka and Tohakuru all making their debut and not being able to get enough wins to stay in the top division. So yo-yoing right back down to the second tier Juryo division. Okay, so that is our banzuke for January. And like I said, I think the big question mark, well, there's 2. Kirishima, can he repeat? And Terunofuji, will he show up? And if he does show up, will he be in fighting, fighting trim, as they say? Okay, Tachiai, great place to go. tachiai.org.org for all your sumo breakdown here. They're talking about the banzuke. They gave some updates on things like Kakeru, the former Yokozuna, has now got his own independent stable, and it's going to be called Otowayama. And he took a few of the wrestlers. No, I guess he took a hairdresser with him. Okay. So right now he's only got one wrestler named Hagane on his profile, but there you go. Omasho, another former wrestler. He's the stable master after the passing of one of the great wrestlers from the past, Terao. He died, I want to say back in November. So there you go. So yeah, always good to check in with Tachiai, see what they're talking about. A little bit more about the banzuke here. And look at that. Trying to see. This is like the new stable building for how we I don't want to say the wrong thing. Aminishiki. Okay, Aminishiki. I forget his Oyakata name, but there's his new building. That's wonderful looking. So probably the bottom floor here is the dohyo, and then living quarters, the probably where they eat, the communal living, eating and dining space, and then other offices and whatnot. So yeah, some of them are getting much more modern. Hakuho's supposedly spending millions on some kind of amazing space in Tokyo that has yet to be announced, but it will come. Okay, so let's jump over to the matches and topics before we get to Ura, which we're going to talk about him in a minute. Let's look at the banzuke topics. Is it updating? Oh, maybe I didn't click. Come on. There we go. Okay, So Kotonowaka, Sekewaka for 3 consecutive tournaments. Daisho, 5 consecutive tournaments. Takayatsu is making his Komusubi return. He was there just a year ago in January of 2023. Komusubi debut for Ura. Woo, woo, woo. They made a little typo there, but he's from Kisebeya, and we'll look at his stable in a minute. I always think that's the Kiseno Sato stable, but it's of course not. It's nothing to do with Kiseno Sato. So all these stats about him, and we'll talk about how uh, he's the second slowest to achieve his Sanyaku debut. He's 31 years old and 6 months, and he's now the fifth oldest Rikishi since well, the Heisei era. So that would be since like the late 80s, maybe, when the Showa era ended, to reach Sanyaku for the first time. Making his debut in the top is Onosato. He's a name to keep an eye on. It only took him 4 tournaments to get to the top division, and that is third fastest since the Showa era. The Showa is uh, Emperor Hirohito, so that's like going back to World War II. Heisei is his son who took over, I think in 1989, he became the emperor. Um, Shimazu is also making his debut in the top division. And then we have some guys returning like Koto Shoho, Bushozan. They were both in there in 2023, as was Aoyama. He just went down for a tournament and bounced back. Or maybe, no, yeah. Yeah, he was September. He went down for November, bounced back. So Aoyama back up in the top division, making their Juryo debuts. You got this guy, nah, because I'm used to Takara Fuji. Now it's Takeru Fuji. Also very, very fast. Um, Seventh fastest promotion. Tajiro Oshoumi, making his Juryo debut. And then you got 2 guys returning, Hakuyozan and Tochi Musashi. And then they have some tables. Here's, for instance, Yoshikaze took a long time. Look at that, 10 years from he made his pro sumo debut in January of 2004. Didn't go up to Sanyaku for 10 years. So Oda beating him out by a little bit, by about a year. And then you can see some of the other names, Tobizaru, etc. Oldest age, Oda there at number 5. Yoshikaze, another one who's old, 32. And then the speed of Onosato there, and speed down here again of Takeru Fuji. So some interesting information there. But let's jump over and look at Ura in just a close up here for a minute. So he comes from this stable, Kisebeya, and he's got some talented guys in there with him. He's got Kimbozan in there, Chiranaumi. They're all 3 in the top division. Juryo guys, probably you've heard of them. Shimano Shiden, Hideno and then, of course, a bunch of guys in the lower divisions. But the interesting thing about Ura that a lot of you, especially if you're newer to sumo, might not know is that he made his Maegashira debut a long time ago. So you go down here and it shows you his rank, right? And you click see more, and then if you scroll and you go way back, look at this. So back in 2016, he was at Juryo 1 and didn't get a winning record. November, he gets an 8-7, and then he has a good record at Juryo 3 at 11-4 in January of 2017. So that is 7 years ago right now. And finally gets promoted. This is his very first tournament in the top division in March of 2017. So that's the first time most people started to pay attention to Ura and he, antics and, all the kind of fun stuff that he did. And he went 11-4 that tournament. So he had a great debut, went up to Maegashira 4, 7-8, not so great, fighting guys like Ichinojo and Goeido, Harama Fuji. I mean, this was a different time, right? So then in September, injury. So he's at Maegashira 4. He fights one day, beats Shodai, oddly enough, who's still wrestling, and loses to Takakeisho and then pulls out, doesn't fight Ichinojo. And then look at this, he's absent for 5 tournaments, which is almost an entire sumo year, and comes back in the fourth tier Sandamne division, right? But he's eating it up. Look at this, 6-1, 7-0. The division champion gets promoted up to Makashita, but then doesn't do so well. And again, he has to pull out and he loses another 4 tournaments from a Makashita rank. So he goes down, down, down. Now he comes back and he's in Johnny Dan, which is the fifth tier division. Johnny Dan, not just Johnny Dan, Johnny Dan, a 106. There are so many guys in that division down there. But of course, he's a former top division wrestler. He eats most of these guys for breakfast, goes 6-1, gets the Johnny Dan championship at 7-0. Oh, somebody told me I'm saying that wrong. I'm saying John Nidan. Yeah, it's Joe Nidan. Joe Nidan. Okay, I gotta try to say that right. Sorry, whoever left me that message. I will do better. Okay, so Joe Nidan, 7-0, jumps out of there, goes to Sandamne, another 7-0, jumps up to Makashita, 6-1, 6-1, and he's back in Juryo in November of 2020. And that's kind of when he's started this second win. So when we talk about how he's one of the oldest guys to make it to Sanyaku, he was on that trajectory when he was in his 20s for sure. But he got sidelined by these injuries, which was significant and took a lot out of him. But he's really battled back in a kind of Tochinoshin, Terunofuji way. And it's quite a story. And then, of course, he fights his way up through Juryo, gets the Juryo Division Championship in May of 2021, goes 12-3. Great tournament there, and finds himself finally in July of 2021 back in the top division, after being there in 2017. So, and then he's just kind of hung out, right? He's never gone back down to Juryo, and he got up to Maegashira 1 before, but went 4-11, and he's just battled and battled and battled, and now finally he got up to Maegashira 1 again, got to 8-7, and now for the very first time is a komusubi. So congratulations to him. He's such a popular Rikishi, such a likable guy. You got to root for him. So he will be battling to get a Kachikoshi as a komusubi and stay in the Sanyaku division. All right, what else should we look at? Let's look really quick at what do we got? Oh, so here's the dates again, just in case. 14th of January, Sunday to the 28th, Kirishima there. And it's, of course, all happening in Tokyo. Don't recommend coming to Tokyo in January. It's really cold. Oh, I should mention, that's what I forgot to mention. Let me stop sharing for a moment. This is what I forgot to mention, and I was going to mention right at the top. There was an earthquake in Japan on New Year's Day, which was yesterday for me now when I'm filming this. And a lot of messages from you guys on Twitter and stuff. Hey, Jason, how are you? Blah blah blah. Are you safe and stuff? And so, as always, I appreciate those reaching out. But yeah, I'm fine. My area completely unaffected. I'm in a much different part of Honshu than Ishikawa Ken, which is where the major area of the earthquake and damage occurred. I'm way south and on the other side of Honshu, the east coast, as opposed this one was a rare one that happened on the west coast, where like I used to live on Shimane was on the west coast, on the Sea of Japan side. Um, but yeah, just a terrible way to kick off the new year for a lot of the people in that region. And but thank you for your well wishes and concern. But yeah, I didn't even feel it where I am, but it was pretty major. Luckily, no follow-up tsunami or other damage that could have been deadly. So the people here are well prepared for earthquakes. We don't want them to happen, but we know that they will. And so people here are well prepared to deal with them and help people, etc. Okay, so let's jump back in. So not that I don't not recommend coming to Japan because there might be an earthquake. It's just too cold. It's just really too cold to go out and have fun unless you're a cold weather person or you want to do something cold weather specific, like you want to go to Hokkaido because you want to snowboard or ski, then of course it's wonderful here. They have wonderful winter sports things. We've hosted the Winter Olympics in Japan before. But for me, as a warm Southern California person, it is way too cold. And December has mostly been okay. Like today, I think was in the 50s. It was around 10 degrees centigrade outside, so I can kind of, wear my hoodie inside and stay fairly warm. Uh, as you can see, the sun is shining outside. I got my window open, my drapes open, but not my door open because it's too cold. But yeah, January and February are the two coldest months in Japan, so you got to really want to come in those at that time to brave the outdoor temperatures. Uh, okay, so oop, oop, contest. So I will put the link down in the description. Same as always, pick your five guys. Make sure you check back to see, for instance, if Fuji is competing or not, especially if you picked him. And here's my email if you ever need to send me a question or something. And this is my like behind the scenes glimpse at it, but you'll get a drop down menu with these the Ozeki and the Yokozuna. Then you got your four guys to choose from: Sekawake Komusubi, M1 through M5, M6 through M11, 12 guys in that group, and 12 guys in the bottom group. Okay, so you pick one from each group, make your team of five guys, and we will give away some nifty prizes. Got lots of good stuff left over from when I went to Fukuoka. So lots of fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff, uh, the official Sumo online store has some real fun stuff that they've added. So here's some incense. Here's a marker that's like a normal marker. They just slapped a sticker on and they're charging, kind of 275 for, which I just think is ridiculous. Here's this kind of creepy sumo pillow. Where's the other place you see it? Maybe down here. Yeah, it's this thing, I think. I don't know why it has such kind of luscious lips. Um, but yeah, they put it under a pillow and they're like, you know, yay, it's the new year. So this is one brand new thing they've come up with. Let me show you. Oh, well, the first thing is they have these nifty new towels that are kind of cool. So here, for instance, is the Ura towel, and in the corner they put the name of the wrestler in English, which I think is them attempting to, appeal to the foreign fans as well. So you got his name, new color schemes, little Goombay here in the corner, the fan that the referee holds. And like I said, so many to choose from. Here's three examples. Here's Kirishima's. Let me go back there real quick. Yeah, so here's a bunch that you can just see right there. And oh, here's a whole bunch. Yeah, you can see. So pretty nifty. Not a ton of choices yet. What's that? About 10 wrestlers so far. But if you choose to get one, let's say you are a big Takakeisho fan, there's his. And like I said, it says Takakeisho up here in the corner. And those are 1,500 yen. So that's about $12 maybe American. So those are definitely something I can buy to give away as a prize coming up. If I go to Osaka in March, I can definitely pick those up. That's a brand new thing. They've started this other thing. Uh, got some new fans. They added a Tommy Fuji to the towels because he's doing so well. So that's great if you're a Tommy Fuji fan. Some shirts, but they added this new thing, which and Ura is getting the big thing, the big push here. Just a wrestler on a Tegata size, um, like board, uh, and with very colorful backgrounds. But interestingly, both of their names, their wrestling name and their first name, and different, nice, colorful kimono, and all in English. So interesting thing, and they're pretty cheap, 650 yen. So I'll probably, I mean, lots of choices here. Probably just about everybody in the top division. And I doubt they left anyone out because these aren't very difficult to make. And so there is Tommy Fuji's. He's got the punchy cheeks. So 650 yen, those are pretty cheap. So if you've ever seen the Tegata, it's about, oh, I don't even know how to say what size it is, but yeah, it's here. I'm going to hold this up in the small window. So it's like if you have this and you maybe cut off a little bit, it's square, obviously, but it's not too big. So it'd make a nice little wall decoration. So they are adding stuff all the time to this shop. And this represents a lot of the goods you can buy when you go see it live. Spotlight on Ura here and all the wall clock and a pendant and his towel and his other towel. Of course, they have the calendar. They have this big poster calendar, which I thought I might get, but I'm not so sure now. Foods branded with sumo stuff, these little charms. So I kind of like these coasters, cups, coin purses, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, just an idea of what the goods. Of course, you can always go to Big Sumo Fan, and let's see really quick if Robert has any of these on his top page. Um, and he gets a lot of these goods sold out of the calendar, but check back, he might get a restock. Here are some of the different towels. Like here's this Terunofuji towel and then this Terunofuji towel, and now they just brought out that other towel. There is the autographed Tegata, so it's that size. Um, and yeah, just just tons of goods here on his page uh for you to buy if you're interested. And I always use him when I give away the prizes for the contest. Okay, so I talked about the contest, so go there, join if you'd like. I think we had 700 or 800 people. Last time my team didn't do so well. I'll try to do better in January here, but getting a little bit of an early start on it, like I said, because I'm going to post this video on the 2nd. Okay, I think that's it. Other than that, so let me hit stop share. Okay, guys. So the last thing is the old calendar. This is the 2023 calendar now. Don't think you're getting the new calendar. This is last year. And so I took it off my wall, but it's got, these nice big pictures. Um, look at who used to be an Ozeki. Yeah, and some of these guys are not, Ichinojo's not around anymore. Oh, we didn't talk about Wakataka Kage. We'll talk about him really quick before I leave. Remind me. Tochinoshin's still in there. Okanumi's still in there. So this is 2023. Okay. So what I do every year is I give this away. So it's just going to be a giveaway. Mike didn't have time to get that page, and all I'll do is I'll just set up a Google page. All you do is just put your name and your email, and literally I always think like 15 people are going to want this, but then like 100 of you sign up. So I'll tell you more about it on day one, and I'll have the link, and you just go in and put in your name, and probably in the middle of the basho, like the first weekend, I'll pull a random name out of the hat, and wherever you are in the world, this is easy to mail. I'll mail that if you want to cut it up and use it as wall deco or whatever, because I would just throw it away. So somebody usually wants it. So no, you don't have to win anything, predict anything, do anything. You just have to give me your name, and it's just, names in a hat, and I pick somebody out at random, and you get the old calendar. So that's something I can do in January. And if you're a channel member, of course, I will be giving away 2 prizes just to the channel members, regardless of the contest, just for being a channel member, as always. So thank you to those people. Thank you to the people that go by PayPal. I think I had a few people go by in December. Arigatou gozaimasu. I haven't sent out emails yet, but I will get caught up on that stuff when I get back from Guam. Okay, really quick, just before we go, let me screen share two other things I noticed um, that were kind of fun on the official Sumo page here. Okay. Oh, no, they're not going to tell us that yet. Matches and topics. Sorry, Bonsuke. Okay. Really quick, Kirishima, who does he not fight? Oh, nobody. Okay, there's nobody in the top division. So he has to fight everybody. There's no other wrestlers that are in his stable that he's barred from fighting. So Bonsuke. So first of all, if we go down to Jurio, there's a wrestler at Jurio 6 who was going by his given last name. His ring name was Takahashi, which is his real last name. It'd be like me being called Harris. And so he finally decided to come up with like, a wrestler name. And this is Kiseno Sato stable, and it's called Nishonoseki Beya. And so he is he's got Onosato and Tomokaze, and then his new name is Shirokuma, which Shiro is white and Kuma is bear, and it's generally the word Japanese people use for a polar bear. So there was a lot of little fun on Twitter, memes with him and the polar bears, and I think he did that very deliberately. So it's kind of a fun new name that he got to pick for himself. But he's been in Jurio. It wasn't like sometimes when you get promoted, you pick a new Shikona. But he wrestled under Takahashi at Jurio 12 and Jurio 9, got winning records both times, and now he's up at Jurio 6, and he is now known as Shirokuma. So I just thought that was fun when I saw it. And then the other one is some of you are probably wondering what's happening with Wakataka Kage. Well, there he is. He's at Makushita 1, along with a guy from Okinawa in Kiseno Sato's stable called Kaio. And all he has to do is get 4 wins out of seven matches to be promoted up to the Jurio division. So 4 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins. As long as he doesn't have a losing record, he will get promoted back up to the second tier division and be a Sekitori once again on his way back up the Bonsuke. And so we expect him to do that. And there he is. So we hope he will return soon and join his brother in the top division. Wakamoto Haru, of course, a little plummet down to Maegashira 1, but he might bounce back. You never know. Takayasu's so unpredictable. Sometimes he's amazing. Sometimes it all goes to crap in the second week. It just depends. So, okay, I think that's it for me today, guys. So enjoy the rest of your holiday. If you're watching this, I hope you had a wonderful New Year's, um, and a wonderful Christmas if you're a person that does that, and just wonderful holiday time. I'm going to warm weather. It's supposed to be about 26 to 29 degrees C, so in the sort of 70s and 80s in Guam, and hoping it doesn't rain. I'll get to go in the ocean and eat lots of American food and buy some large clothing at their big and tall store and buy some shoes because I'll have shoe stores that have my size. Because if you have feet that are over 29 centimeters, which my feet are, you really can't buy shoes in Japan easily at any like normal shoe store, things like that. So I am really looking forward to doing some shopping, and you know, I know it sounds terrible to some of you, but eating Taco Bell and eating Burger King and just comfort food and buying all kinds of goods at their version of Walmart that I know from America, and coming back with my suitcases full of stuff that I hope they don't confiscate when I get to customs. Uh, and yeah, and just having a good few relaxing days, taking a book, debating whether I should take a textbook that I'm supposed to be reading or if I should just make it a fun trip, and disconnecting. Well, I won't disconnect from social media. I'll post a few pictures probably on my Twitter. So the Twitter link is down in the description if you want to see a few pictures from Guam. And then yeah, I'll be back on the 9th, and the tournament starts on Sunday the 14th. So day one, and join me then for day one videos. Okay, take care. See ya. Bye. Say bye, Okonomi. Bye. Peace.